Our next speaker for today is Jeremy Cicely-Kira. And Jeremy was born in Paris, France in 1989 and diagnosed with DUP15Q and autism at an early age. By age 17, Jeremy had little speech, but learned to type and point to letters at home with his mother. Jeremy graduated high school at age 21 with a full academic diploma. After high school, Jeremy co-authored a book, A Full Life with Autism, and served as a youth representative to the United Nations for the Autism Research Institute, an NGO, and as a youth leader for the Autistic Global Initiative. In August 2012, Jeremy began to paint. Since 2016, Jeremy has been invited to participate in curated and/or juried art shows. His art has been covered by national media, including People.com, NBC, ABC, Good Morning America, and the CreatorsProject.vice.com, as well as local media. Currently, Jeremy meets people in person at his art studio in San Diego or online to create personalized portraits. And you can find him at jeremysvision.com. So let's welcome Jeremy, please.
So Jeremy wrote this talk, and it's bits of things that he edited from things he's written over the years. And so he edited them together over a period of time, and it lasts about 45 minutes or 40 minutes, and then he can take Q&A questions if there are any.
Hello. My name is Jeremy Cicely-Kira. Truly, it's great to be here. I am 28 years old, and I am an artist. I also have DUP15Q and autism. I would like to tell you about my life. I am sharing my story because I want to help others. Nicely, this is the story of how I came out of darkness. Getting out of the darkness for me was not a miracle. It was a team effort and lots of work over a long period of time. The real reason for my success in life is frankly that my mom got good people to work with me and professionals that believed in me. Despite not being able to speak very much, I graduated from Torrey Pines High School in June 2010 at age 21 with a full academic diploma. I gave a commencement speech using voice output technology. Here it is.
I'm Senior Class Secretary this year. And I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker. It's Jeremy Cicely-Kira. Jeremy has autism and limited speech and is a graduate of Torrey Pines High School class of 2010. He plans to attend Maricosta College and study communication and journalism. Jeremy types or points to letters on a letterboard to communicate. He passed all of his tests, wrote all of his papers, and made PowerPoint presentations in this way. Jeremy wrote the following speech using voice output software on his notebook computer. He would now like to share his thoughts. Jeremy.
I have spent 7 years at Torrey Pines High School. 3 years ago, I walked the graduation ceremony. Today I walk the same path, in the same cap and gown, but I have now earned my academic diploma. My education at Torrey Pines has been my greatest achievement. I was once diagnosed autistic and severely retarded. When I arrived at Torrey Pines, I could not communicate, and I spent my days in a class for the severely handicapped. Now I am going to college. I am writing a book about my life. I have become an inspiration nationally to many parents and educators of children with autism. My story is like Helen Keller's, the deaf, mute, and blind girl. Helen Keller had a teacher, Anne Sullivan, who taught her and took her out of isolation. My first great teacher was my mom, then the high school teachers. My favorite story about Torrey Pines is when my teacher, Alan Gustafson, realized for the very first time that I understood everything. He was really trying to learn how to communicate with me. He said, "Jeremy, I know you are in there somewhere. I can't know what you are capable of unless you tell me." I looked at him and saw tears in his eyes. I really wanted to make him happy. My nice teacher continued to try and reach me. He said, "Give me a sign." I looked at him and spelled with him for the first time. Great teacher Alan was so happy. The teachers here gave me good advice on more than just the subjects they taught. They understood that I might be different on the outside, but that on the inside I was just like any other student. Other important people include the ladies in the administration building, who always said hi to me and told me they were happy to see me. My speech teacher, Dr. Palmer, was nice, even if she tried to convince me to become a Republican. An exciting memory from this campus is when an MTV camera crew followed me around campus for the show, True Life I Have Autism. I would like to thank Bruce Cochran, Director of Pupil Services, for the chance he took and the faith he had in me. I would like to thank the administrators, the school staff, the educators, including Maureen and Janine, for allowing my voice to be heard. Without you, my life would still be imprisoned in darkness. Nicely, I wish I had made more friends from my years here. Being autistic, that is the hardest part. It is important to include all students in general education classes so they can be with their peers. When Helen Keller grew up, she graduated from college, became an author and an advocate for people with disabilities. I hope to do the same. My real message to you today is: teachers, never underestimate your students, no matter how disabled they may appear or what difficulties they face. Parents, believe in your children and encourage them to fulfill their dreams. Students, give yourself the power to hear the voice inside telling you that you can create the life you dream of. Believe in yourself and never allow anyone to discourage you.
Jeremy Sissel Kira.
Brian Roberts.
Adam Herman. Devin Clarner.
Hello. What up, guys? Let's have a little bit of fun. Oh yeah, get up, don't be shy. It's fine.
Frankly, you may wonder how I became a high school graduate, and then a successful young adult. I believe what one of my great teachers once told me: you are the product of your parents and a product of your environment and the reaction you have to both. If you are a hard worker and have great parents and a good school, you will be successful. Gradually, after many years of trying to understand what the world is made of, I learned to make sense of all things around me. I was born in France in 1989, on January 1st. I was stuck in a body that didn't work well. Movement was impossible. My muscles didn't move the way I wanted them to, which is why speaking was and still is difficult for me. During my baby years, I remember my mom thought there was something wrong. Really, I was just not the poster baby that you would look at and say, yes, this is the baby I really want. But the doctors did not help my mom at first. When I was diagnosed at age 3 with DUP15Q, they told my mom and dad that if they were lucky, they would find a good institution for me. Justly, I do not think by institution that they meant the United Nations, but that is where I served for a few years. I was a youth representative to the United Nations for the Autism Research Institute. Grateful believer of hard work, My mom did not wait for services or just think others could teach me better. Mom tried many things to help me. But not one treatment or therapy alone is the reason for my success, but rather the combination of many. Physical therapy. The best day of my life was when my mom gave me the reason for living. It was early in my life in Paris and I was not moving very much. Mom got me a great physical therapist. He showed my mom how to move my body parts so that I could learn to move my body parts and use them and control my body. Everything was noise. I heard noises, but I could not understand that noise had meaning. Just until one day I heard nice noise coming from my mom's mouth. I was in my crib in Paris and then my mom began to sing and I saw my mom's lips move and I thought there must be a connection between her lips moving and the sound. Little by little my nice mom gave me the tools to recognize that everything had meaning. Mom read to me often and made me understand the connection between words and images and sound. My favorite part of the day was when Mom would take my great books and read to me. We moved to England when I was 4 years old. My mom gave me a really beautiful program, auditory integration training, where I had to sit really still twice a day, every day, for 2 weeks to listen to music through headphones. I could not begin to understand the different noises until I had this program with headphones. Until then I could not make out the differences in the frankly noisy background. Then, I could hear more sounds and voices. I could hear voices more clearly. It opened up a world of different sounds to me. I get so happy when I remember now those few weeks that changed my life because I could hear other things besides my mom's voice. Music then became a pleasure for me to listen to. The importance of music. Good music makes a big difference in my life. The most important thing it does is help me to sequence, meaning it helps me to know the order of steps in any physical action. Things like the steps of a task, the right way to move my body, and how quickly I react, rests on the rhythms I feel. Music can remind me to get sequences correct. Listening to music while writing makes the flow better between my brain and my body. I truly think that music preserves my sanity, because it keeps me in rhythm. When I was a teenager I had neurologic music therapy. NMT is the therapeutic application of music to cognitive, sensory, and motor dysfunctions due to neurologic disease of the human nervous system. NMT helps my brain organize the different parts of my body, that is upper, lower, arms, legs. The importance of NMT for me is that the different parts of my whole body frankly behave like they are separate, but the different parts of my body need to listen to the same beat to be able to move together like other people's bodies do. The NMT therapist helped me find my inner cadence. Education. Basically, if it was not for my nice mom and great teachers, my life would not be worth living. They believed in me and that has made the biggest impact, more than the type of teaching methods used. My education has been varied between homeschooling, classrooms for the severely handicapped, and general education classes. My mom took me out of classrooms when there was neglect or abuse. ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, home program in England. When my mom took me out of school, she got tutors for me. Then I knew I would be able to come out of my great solitude because nicely the tutors tried with mom to reach me across the darkness. I liked learning how to understand. Just the fact that the tutors tried to teach me gave me the confidence to try and pull myself out of my nothingness. I get depressed about the past, but not about the times mom had tutors for me. Vision processing. Frankly, I think my autistic brain helped me to see patterns my mom could not. I could see the dots in the letters on book covers that my mom seemed not to notice. I could not see the whole letters of the alphabet until my mom got the idea from a friend Kathy to make transparencies for me. I then lined up the letters and I had to learn to look at the whole letter instead of the lines of black ink that made up the letter. Because looking at letters was then very easy, I could learn to read. When I could read the letters, I read all the letters at once because I had the idea I could. Pages were like my own best friend because I could see familiar patterns. I liked patterns in the letters, formed patterns that had meaning. My mom read to me and showed me the words, greatly helping me give meaning to the patterns. The best times of my life was when my mom tried to teach me. The really important thing to know is that everything Mom did helped and was built on something else. Still now, my visual processing makes it really hard for me to read and see. Vision therapy seems to help with seeing the whole picture. I think vision therapy helps me to get my eyes and hands working together. It was hard to use any of my senses like seeing and hearing, but the hardest part was, and still is, to use them at the same time. It is hard to look at someone and try to listen at the same time. It really required a lot of effort to figure out strategies to deal with this challenge. For example, holding a book and flipping through the pages makes it easier to focus instead of looking at where the noise is coming from. When I was 7 years old, we moved to San Diego.
I find my voice, rapid prompting method. Communication has been my greatest challenge. Some good people have been important to my success in communicating. Then, when I was a teenager, my mom met Soma, and Soma introduced me to RPM, the rapid prompting method, a way to teach academics that leads to communication through typing. Mom took me to see Soma in LA twice a month for 1.5 years, and Mom taught me with RPM at home every day for at least half an hour. When my mom met Soma, my mom had already taught me to read, but I could not show her.
Bad things happened. I don't think people realize the kind of effect they have on nonverbal people. You have to be brave to get over the horrible times people hurt you by talking like you don't understand the comments they are making about you within earshot. You know that intentional abuse is unforgivable, but in some cases ignorance is just as painful. In my case, I have oftentimes been the victim of ignorance. I have also suffered real abuse. Really, if it were not for my mom and my therapist pleading for me, I would have retreated into my world. I have to say that God was good to give me such good parents and sister. During my high school years, with RPM, I learned to point with one finger to a letterboard to do my homework and to communicate. Sometimes I spell the words without looking directly at the letterboard because I am using my peripheral vision. Peripheral vision means the vision that occurs outside the center of my eyes, at the edges of my visual field. Really, I prefer to use my peripheral vision when I type because greatly it's easier for me. In high school, I also learned to use a LidiWriter with voice output technology. This was before e-pads existed. My dog, Handsome, likes to use my Bluetooth keyboard sometimes. What I needed to learn in high school for the next step up the ladder of life. The important things to my success now as a young adult is that in high school I learned to understand my need for breaks and how to ask for them. Speaking up for myself was hard to learn but is necessary for survival as an adult. Also, learning to control my body in moments of overwhelm was difficult and still is, and I worked on that a lot. Nicely, I got mad at my mom sometimes because she made me follow through with what I told her I wanted to do. But basically, that is how I have learned to be more in control of my life and how I have realized that I have to work hard to make my dreams come true. The supports I had at school greatly helped me. I had professionals that were trained in RPM, the rapid prompting method, and ABA, applied behavior analysis, and who respected my differences. Also, they knew how to help me with a sensory diet to stay focused and help my body stay regulated. Therapy has played a big role throughout high school too. Occupational therapy, sensory integration therapy, vision therapy, neuromusic therapy, and even speech therapy helped me better many aspects of my life in order to do better in school. Behavioral flexibility. Behavioral flexibility is the ability to switch behaviors according to the settings we are in. Neurotypicals have behavioral flexibility. Neurotypicals adapt their behavior according to different factors such as whether they are in a very small group or a large group, and depending on the social group such as whether they are in church or in a bar. Also, the group of people they are with changes their behavior. Being in Las Vegas with family is different than being there with male buddies. The difficulties of transitions, big and small, and what helps. I just want to tell people I want to have normal experiences, but it is very difficult because frankly I don't have behavioral flexibility because my sensory system is greatly feeling everything. All transitions are very hard because I need to prepare my body and senses for what is coming up next. Mostly transition me badly. Having great support staff is both helpful and necessary. It is nice to have understanding staff, but frankly I dread transition. I have lots of strategies for transitions. Knowing what is happening next is important. Hope is a great motivating tool to help me through transitions. Carrying a magazine or book was, and still is, necessary. Being reminded of the rules of expected behavior we write together is necessary. I need direct instruction in regards to what the rules of expected behavior are in the different environments. When I was younger I learned the rules of going to the library. My nice tutors would give me the rules: touch books nicely and keep your hands to yourself and help put the books in the red bin. If I followed the rules I got to go for French fries. If not, I had to immediately leave the library that I loved. Now I write my own rules. My support staff really help me when my body is having trouble, for example, when I can't get out of their cars. Counting backwards helps my body greatly move without physical prompts. It is important to have trained and understanding staff. My writing years. A full life with autism. When I learned I could type my thoughts, I began to write about my experiences and my point of view. In high school I was in journalism class, and wrote a monthly column for the school newspaper, The Falcon. I also was on the newspaper team at community college and wrote articles for the Chariot. To frankly help others like me getting ready for transition to real life, I wrote a book, A Full Life with Autism, Macmillan, with my mom. Many people wrote to tell me it was helpful. This made me happy. Synesthesia. I may be different from many people because of the way I communicate, but I am also different because I have synesthesia, which means that the part of my brain that controls the senses, sight, hearing, touch, smell and taste, are wired differently. About 10% of all people have this. Some famous musicians have this, and when they listen to music they see colors. I see numbers in letters and words in color. I see people's emotions translated into color when I look at them. This is truly a gift. In August 2012 I began to type out the dreams I was having, dreams that I was painting portraits of people I knew. I nicely used the word auras or colors when describing my dreams about people, but really I am reading the colors of people's emotions. One night I dreamt I had a great art show of my paintings. Truly I was really excited and asked my mom how to have an art show. Mom frankly told me it could not very much happen unless I painted in real life. Truly I was surprised to see I could, by kindly trying hard, to learn to paint. Here is more about my gift and the art show.
April is Autism Awareness Month, and this next story may change the way you see what is a very complex and not fully understood disorder. It may also change the way you see everyone around you. NBC7's Greg Bledsoe joins us now with the story. Greg?
Yeah, and this is really cool, the way he sees the world and everything around him. The person you're about to meet sees things differently than most of us do, but it wasn't until recently he could show everyone the world from his point of view.
You ready, Jeremy? I'm going to help you up.
Rule 1 when it comes to Jeremy, Cecile, Kira,
2, 1, let's go.
keep an open mind.
The misconception is that if you look at him and you watch his behaviors, you might think that there's nothing inside.
But his mom, Chantel, would argue there's a lot inside the mind of this 27-year-old with autism.
SW, answer.
A lot he could tell you one letter at a time, but may prefer
Support.
to just show you.
When he discovered painting, that was just boom. I could just feel this energy and this emotion, and it just seemed so positive.
Jeremy started painting 3 years ago because of a dream he had.
He spelled out, Mom, I had a dream that I painted 10 paintings and I had my own art show. Could this come true? And I said, well, Jeremy, first you have to paint the paintings.
Something that may have come naturally.
Happy yellow.
Because in addition to autism, Jeremy has something called synesthesia.
Which for him means that he can see letters, numbers, and words in color. There's the color you chose. He then started talking about the emotions as color. He was talking about people being happy, and that was yellow, and how orange was fun, and this person was a leader, and so therefore they were represented by purple. Okay, blue like the sky.
Which is why every one of his paintings is actually a portrait of someone Jeremy has met.
This one is for I think she's a social worker. They're like really surprised and they say, how did he know this about me? And it's true.
And it's become more than a hobby.
People are buying them.
The paintings sell for as much as a couple $1,000s, and the list of orders is growing every day.
I am totally blown away. I still don't believe it.
As for that dream he had about one day having his own art show, it opened this month.
TR come true. Dreams come true.
But this is about more than money and more than one person.
Can I fix this for you?
His mom says this is about everyone else out there like Jeremy.
There are a lot of people out there who are not given an opportunity to learn how to type or communicate.
And an open mind can be a beautiful thing.
He's thinking, how many other people may have a talent that we have yet to discover because nobody's given them an opportunity to communicate?
Isn't his work beautiful? Jeremy's installation is going on right now in the East Village downtown at a place called A Space for Art. It'll be open every day from about 11 until 4 through this coming Saturday. It's just, in person, I promise you, they're even brighter and cooler than they are on TV.
That's so awesome. And it's so neat to hear people say, how did he know that about me? And that he really strikes a chord with people. That's so awesome.
There are some examples, his mom says, where he can tell if people are sick or not before they know, and a couple times where he knew someone was pregnant before they did. I mean, yeah, it's really pretty remarkable.
It's a beautiful
She's remarkable
story.
too, to be such a helper in making that happen.
Yeah.
Cool story. Thank you, Greg.
Now I have my own art studio in an art co-op, Space for Art. I was accepted into the co-op based on my artwork. This was truly the first time I was accepted for my ability, not my disability. They asked me about art, not my autism. Art collectors see me as an artist, not a disabled person. People often want to know how I do these paintings. Sometimes I meet people in person, sometimes via FaceTime or Skype. I ask them questions and listen to their voices. Here is an example of a painting of a couple, Mike and Amanda. The nicely, frankly beautiful colors of Mike and Amanda. I greatly painted the beautiful colors of Mike and Amanda as they kindly spoke of their life together. Now I have my own art studio in an art co-op, Space for Art. I was accepted into the co-op based on my artwork. This was truly the first time I was accepted for my ability, not my disability. They asked me about art, not my autism. Art collectors see me as an artist, not a disabled person. People often want to know how I do these paintings. Sometimes I meet people in person, sometimes via FaceTime or Skype. I ask them questions and listen to their voices. Here is an example of a painting of a couple, Mike and Amanda. The nicely frankly beautiful colors of Mike and Amanda. I greatly painted the beautiful colors of Mike and Amanda as they kindly spoke of their life together. Dark green clearly represents the fullness of their life together. Pink is for the love they have for each other. Nice lavender is for the caring they do of each other. Purple greatly represents the leadership they have in their field. Yellow is for the happy times they have together. Orange is frankly for the great laughing, amusing fun greatly found their shared activities. White is for the hope that they can have dearly dear children one day. Truly Mike's dad is helping from above, represented by gold and silver. Blue, like the sky, is for the knowledge they have in their line of work. Bright green is for the beautiful calm they have together. Red is for a little anxiety about the beautiful future they hope to have. Truly their aura is nicely very beautiful together and separate. Sometimes I look at video footage and read online about famous people I admire and paint their portrait. For example, here is a famous person, President Obama in 2012. Our President Obama, November 2012, I had a great dream that I painted the aura of President Obama. I greatly felt his worries for the country. President Obama was green with the calm of intelligent reflection. The green was like the forest green, greatly full of strokes of ivory symbolizing hope for the future and love for all people. He had red undertones for the anxiety he feels for his beloved country. Our great Obama will have tough times, but he will greatly, justly, kindly lead the way to a better future, symbolized by the color purple. The texture represents the rocky road Obama will have to navigate. For organizations, I go to the website and read their mission statement and look at photos and video other information on the website. For example, a few years also I donated a painting to the DUP15Q Alliance, which was given away as a raffle prize. Here is the painting, the beautiful colors of kids like me, DUP15Q. I dreamt I painted the beautiful colors of kids like me. Truly the beautiful kids are dearly loved by their families, represented by the color pink. Happy really to be the nice parents of these special people is shown by the color yellow. Creative scientists truly searching for ways to help is represented by kind indigo and blue for the knowledge they uncover. Greatly the nice very busy board members greatly have the idea that they can inspire the new families to feel they are not alone, represented by white for hope. Green is present frankly representing the calmness that love brings to all. Truly great love represented by red is shown through the work of the great leaders and founders. Great purple for their leadership is apparent. Silver and gold representing the power of God's helping hand is there, because we are all manifestations of the same God. My favorite use of my gift is to help people that are sick or need some positive inspiration. I recently painted the colors of healthy Gavin, so Gavin could see his beautiful colors every day while fighting and recovering from brain cancer. He had the painting and dream description at the hospital, and then back at home. The painting and words were very positive and made him feel better and happier. The hospital staff loved to come and look at the painting, too. I have been accepted to prestigious juried art shows, and won recognition for my art on a national level. Recently I was asked to paint the portrait of Governor Brown for a curated show called Art and Advocacy at the California Museum in Sacramento. Currently I am preparing for participation in an art show called Art Walk in Liberty Station August 12th and 13. My participation at Art Walk was supported in part by the California Arts Council, a state agency, and the National Arts and Disability Center at the University of California, Los Angeles. Important to my success as an artist. At another conference, people asked, "What is important to your success as an artist?" Truly nicely, there are a couple things that helped the most. Frankly, one of those things is my nice mom. A lot of this would not have kindly happened without her. Truly, my mom really believed in me, and she very much helped me see that I had a special gift. I thought everyone painted portraits of people's colors while dreaming. Truly, also the help of my great team Jeremy is necessary. Dearly, my team takes me to my studio to paint, and they nicely kindly support me when I paint. My justly realistic goals for my painting career are to make people happy when they see my art and to earn money, because I want to be able to contribute to my financial needs and be less dependent on others. My other area of interest is that I greatly hope to make new friends, and justly I would like to meet the true love of my life very much, so I can build my future with frankly a loving companion. Currently I live not far from my parents in an apartment with a paid roommate. I also have my team Jeremy support staff. Having theses 24/7 supports provided through supported living is the most important part of living on my own. Truly, an important part of my life, besides my family, is the people that support me and help me do what I need to do every day. They are my outside look on the world. My support staff mentor me and also become my friends. I feel that my team is very much in tune with my feelings and my needs. Truly, my team is carefully chosen. Frankly, great staff might have training, but it is to be the right fit with the right person. I could not have the life I have without the wonderful support people like Alyssa, who is here with me today. I hope you were inspired by my talk to believe in the possibility of a good life for all the children who are different. Different means different gifts live in all of us. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?